Hello, and a very good day to the panels and all those who are watching. My name is Daniel Chu, and I'm from the Recursive Studio. Today, I will be presenting my application of the Penrose pattern into a library and a co-working office. This design research aims to develop a design parameter for a Penrose pattern kinetic facade shading system that responds real-time to ever-changing illuminance levels throughout the day. The objectives are to explore the possibility of a Penrose pattern as a kinetic facade shading system, to establish the parameters in which the facade will respond to, and to propose a recursive design throughout the building. As a quick introduction, the brilliant mind behind this Penrose pattern is none other than Sir Roger Penrose. Some of his more popular early discoveries that you may know are the Penrose stairs and the Penrose triangle. Moving on, a periodic tiling is a tiling that repeats itself at regular intervals. Basically, if a shape can be translated in any direction and repeats itself, that is a periodic tiling. On the other hand, the Penrose pattern is an aperiodic tiling. Sir Roger Penrose derived rules for arranging the tiles. This heads and tails method will force a non-periodic tiling. This is a brief history in finding an aperiodic tiling with the least amount of shapes. The first aperiodic tile set was discovered by Robert Berger and consists of 20,000 pieces. He then reduced it to 104. 7 years later, Raphael Robinson reduced this number to 6 pieces only. 2 years later, Sir Roger Penrose discovered a few aperiodic tile sets of just 2 pieces. These Penrose tilings are called the pentagonal Penrose, the kites and darts, and the rhombus, which I would be using. One cool fact about an aperiodic tiling is that you may tile it all the way to infinity and never get the same pattern. Due to its ability to tile up to infinity and not repeat, this pattern has been applied as a facade at Trans-Bay Transit Center at San Francisco. It gives the facade a continuous look without seeing the unmatching edges of the panels. It is also applied as a floor pattern at the Mathematical Institute at Oxford University. This semester's proposed site is at Punggol Central. The site I have chosen is Site A, which is 1.68 acres. It sits right next to the Punggol MRT station and opposite the Waterway Point Mall. It is also surrounded by many residential buildings. The Urban Redevelopment Authority envisioned that the Punggol Digital District would be the next generation smart and integrated district. It envisions to be a community playground and green hut, a car light precinct, an economic and learning hub, as well as a pilot enterprise district with shared spaces between industry and academia. PDD is designed specifically to let industry and academia intermingle through the sharing of each other's workspaces and facilities. From our site studies, we found that Punggol lacks a library for its surrounding residents and users. There are many schools and universities nearby, as well as a huge population that is ever growing. This calls for a need for a library in Punggol. Therefore, the proposed clients are the National Library Board, the Ministry of Communications and Technology, as well as the Urban Redevelopment Authority. Due to the recent COVID-19 pandemic, the Global Workplace Analytics have predicted that there will be an increase of 25 to 30% of the workforce who will continue to work from home multiple times a day by the end of 2021. That's a lot of people, and they won't necessarily want to work from home. Therefore, creating third places are important as they are the heart of a community's social vitality. Hence, I will be proposing a mixed-use building typology that consists of a library, offices, as well as some cafes. As this pre-thesis is on Recursive Studio, I will be applying this principle on 4 different components. The main component to apply this recursive principle would be on the facade. This kinetic facade has been simulated to help strengthen the aim of this thesis. Next, I apply the Penrose pattern on the structure as the beam and columns. This would lead to an unconventional grid that is 72 degrees between the axes. Thirdly, the Penrose pattern has been applied to the landscape architecture, not only on the ground floor but on the roof garden as well. Lastly, the Penrose pattern has been applied on the external form as well on the interior volume as an icosagon dome. Next, we move on to a more interesting aspect, which is the simulations. According to Singapore standards for Code of Practice for Lighting of Workplaces Indoor, they recommend the following for writing, reading and data processing, as well as conference and meeting rooms to be 500 lux. This is in line with the proposed building typology of a library and office. Being at the equator with a tropical climate, the outdoor lux may range from 107 all the way up to 107,000 lux. A passive facade may not optimize and utilize the difference in lux level throughout a given day. Therefore, a kinetic facade would be more capable in dealing with this wide range of illuminance level. The simulations were done on different facade opening percentage, ranging from 0 to 100%. The simulation was done on the 21st of March with intermediate sky conditions using VLux Daylight Visualizer 2. The readings were taken from the average of the window side tables. From these results, you may observe that if there are no facade, the illuminance level ranges from 1200 all the way up to 3400. By having these different percentages of openings, the facade is able to control the amount of illuminance on the interior of the building. From the input illuminance level, a computer program will pick the best amount of opening to achieve the 500 lux required for the usage. The GIFs has been attached in a separate folder. By having a computer do all the calculations to optimize the kinetic facade, this allows it to be fully automated. This system also allows humans to override the controls. Different offices and spaces may control the amount of lighting needed according to their needs. The kinetic facade can be fully closed to make a room darker and more suitable for presentations. The automated kinetic facade will consist of 4 components. The first is the illuminance sensor, which collects real-time data and feeds it to the computer system. The computer then calculates the amount of rotation for the servo motors. It sends this data to the Arduino that sends power to the servo motor to execute the kinetic facade rotations accurately. As you enter the main entrance, you are greeted by a reception desk sitting right in the middle of this icosagon dome. The ground floor is mainly packed with various services such as childcare service, cafes, stationery shop, as well as a convenience shop. At the back of the building is a conference hall that can fit 250 pax. This can be used for various events and exhibitions. The service road is located on the east and also acts as the fire engine access. This leads directly to the firefighting lobby. As we head up to the first floor, there's a large co-working office as well as 2 private large offices. The main space on the west, which has the kinetic facade, would be the library. There are a few meeting rooms on this floor where the public can book. If you notice, at the north of the atrium, there's a book lift, which links directly to the drop-off area down below, where customers can return their books. These books are then sorted at the sorting room to be placed back on the shelves for future use. As we head up to the second floor, this is mainly filled with offices, ranging from mini offices, small office, as well as some medium-sized offices. The third and fourth floor are similar to the first and second. The only difference are the size of the atrium. The spaces around the atriums are surrounded by tables, chairs and sofas for the public. And lastly, on the roof, you have a roof garden where office workers or students can have a break or even an evening exercise after a hard day of work. That will be all for my presentation today. Thank you for your time and have a good week ahead.